Welcome to Honey Clover. I'm Withered, and this is a full breakdown of all the Easter eggs in Tears on a Withered Flower. You are here because, just like me, you are so engrossed in reading this manhwa. Or on the flip side, have a vague idea of what the storyline is and are just starting to get hooked. Before we begin, full disclaimer, I do not speak Korean nor can I read Hangul. I've only read rough translations of this manhwa, so if there are any statements that may have been mistranslated, please let me know in the comments. It took me several weeks to polish these interpretations, so I hope you enjoy watching. Tears on a Withered Flower is one of the hottest manhwas on Naver, so before season 1 comes to an end, I prepared an in-depth analysis of every detail and Easter eggs you might have missed while reading the manhwa. This will be the first of a 4-part series, so I hope you stay tuned. This is not a full recap, but a breakdown of every clue hidden, so I may be jumping from one chapter to another as the case may be, where I believe the author left crumbs for us to salivate for. Full recap and analysis will be in a separate video. My video series will include spoilers. Chapter 1 starts off with Na Hae-soo walking on her cheating husband, but turns out to be a nightmare. She was dozing off during her break and then goes back to work. We are then presented with her current relationship and living condition with her husband, to which she describes herself as withering and losing her light the next day at the flower shop. During Hae-soo's internal thoughts, we are shown a glimpse of the past and a calendar for the month of December hanging on the wall with the number 14 encircled. Upon close-up, we get to see 13th wedding anniversary written beside it, which brings us to our first clue, calendar months. Right off the bat, a major Easter egg was presented as a nightmare that by chapter 1 storytelling, Hae-soo's fear will materialize during their 13th anniversary. Just a footnote to this chapter, I noticed that Hwa-jung looks like your everyday two-faced colleague by the way she acts around Hae-soo. Keep this in mind. By the end of chapter 1, the 3 characters have been introduced: Na Hae-soo, Kang Min-chul, and Rose Guy, to which the author casually drops as the second clue by naming the male lead as Rose Guy. In the first few chapters, we are told he is a frequent customer for several months and only buys a 10-piece bouquet of roses. In florography, red roses means love, passion, courage, and beauty, among others, while the 10 pieces signify a special way of saying they're perfect. In my Delulu mind, this is Rose Guy's way of saying, "You are perfect, Na Hae-soo." Before we continue, let's go back to the calendar months, because I am going to be extra Delulu here. So I've been checking out the calendars since that is where we found our first Easter egg. From what we know, in chapter 1, the first crack will happen during their 13th anniversary on December 14th. Based on the subsequent panel, the present time is January. We get to chapter 2, it's the month of February. Then by chapter 17, it's already December. So from chapters 2 to 18, the events happen within a span of 10 months. But if we go back to chapter 4, when Taeha and his friends sat at the barbecue restaurant, the calendar hanging is still January. Also in chapter 1, the calendar indicates 12 associated with December, but only has 28 days. Is this an oversight? The next time we see a clear view of the calendar is in chapter 38 with the month of January on the wall. Fast forward to chapter 48, we can deduce that given by the 28 days, it's already February. Or is it a recycled panel? I know this is a lot, but hear me out. If we remove the January calendar month in chapter 4 and the discrepancy in calendar days, we get the ballpark timeline of events, that it has been a year by chapter 50. Maybe the author didn't mind the inconsistencies on the background work because they didn't anticipate to have it overanalyzed by an avid reader. But then again, it could be nothing. Throughout chapters 2 to 5, we start to feel Hae-soo having a hint of curiosity, or at least an unspoken attraction towards Taeha. She tries to push him away and is disappointed when he obediently follows. Let's scrutinize this later. The next clue appears in chapter 4 cover, the bouquet of roses and rose petals on the floor. For what purpose does the flower petal scattered on the floor serve? As this is not a one-time thing but is presented throughout the succeeding chapters, we get the answer in chapter 25 when Lee Jae sneaks in Taeha's house to tell him his brother has arrived. Lee Jae tells him he was caught off guard when he suddenly noticed Taeha snuck up on him, to which Taeha responds because of the rose. This must be Taeha's way of knowing when someone goes to his house without his knowledge, which was later confirmed in chapter 52. Although Lee Jae picked up on it, he missed a few details. I have another theory on this later. We now jump to chapter 10 for the fourth clue as we spot Min-chul's vexed expression. During one of the flashbacks, we see Min-chul's angry face when Hae-soo refuses refused to buy anything expensive. By the looks of it, Minchol might have felt a punch in the gut when Hae-soo keeps refusing to purchase an item, stirring negative emotions within him. Just a side note, did you notice what was written on his shirt? Dinah, right? Dinah is a feminine name of Greek origin from dynamine, meaning the bringer, and she who can, the capable one. Is this a projection, or could simply be a brand of motorcycle? Who knows? I digress. So my theory is as the story progresses, she is going to be greedy, would start to want more, leading to a pivotal moment with her fighting for Taeha. A subtle change creeps in when she chooses to be with Taeha to tend to his fever in chapter 17. Chapter 40, when she was persuaded by Taeha to stay with him and cuddle together, the aftercare so to speak. And in chapter 44, when she initiated to take the day off to spend the whole day with Taeha. In subsequent chapters, Minchol is seen projecting his own insecurities to Hae-soo because of his past. If you would recall in the flashback in chapter 29, he doesn't have a family to lean on and that everyone feels bad for him. Then our fifth clue appears in chapter 11, the cover, Orange Anemone. Hae-soo is holding a bouquet of orange anemones, signifies a joy of sincere friendship, making new memories, and the anticipation of good things to come. This denotes a developing connection between Taeha and Hae-soo, that whatever Taeha says started to hold weight for Hae-soo, such as his encouragement to do as she wishes, like the time she decided to buy herself a single red rose, which she later takes a photo and sends it to Taeha, making it her first message. While a single red rose typically symbolizes the quintessential expression of romantic love. In this case, it could represent Hae-soo's love that is deep and enduring. Minchol sees the flower and a surge of emotions took over him and starts aggressively kissing Hae-soo. Hae-soo protested that it is a dangerous day. A third time, she rejected him. In his frustration, he said she will not get pregnant anyway. Which brings us to clue 6. 11 chapters in, we've learned for the first time of Hae-soo's pregnancy was a concern. This will be a recurring issue henceforth. In chapter 12, we are shown a photo of a sonogram, while chapter 13 provides Minchol's view on married life with Hae-soo. Could the author be hinting at the ghost of marriage past by the way Minchol narrates his idea of marriage to Ari? Hae-soo got pregnant at some point during the 13 years of being married. To Minchol, losing that baby signifies an end of a dream. Remember in chapter 1, during Nahi-soo's flashback, Minchol said, "I was trying to cheer you up." Could this be in reference to losing a baby, and was the debt incurred after the possible miscarriage? Earlier, I discussed about the rose petals scattered in Taeha's house, but what does the red petal mean? Just like the bouquet of roses, red petals symbolize love and passion, and they are historically linked to Aphrodite, representing eternal love and desire. This could also be in reference to a matrimonial setting where the rose petals are tossed, a tradition that lies within the concept of fertility. We know that the issue of pregnancy and fertility will be a recurring theme and could later be supported by my theory through the next clue, taking heed from overheard conversations. Every time something significant happens, we are presented with a third-party conversation that parallels Hae-soo's situation, evidenced through chapters 3 at the barbecue restaurant, where the customer talks about men being simple creatures and that women should be affectionate, which she remembers. In chapter 12, at the convenience store, a customer is talking on the phone about her friend getting cheated on, speaking loudly and angrily, stating that not being able to settle down because they don't have kids, that her husband's sperm might be rotten, that's why they couldn't have kids. You won't get pregnant even if, may not have been because of Nahi-soo, but Kang Minchol's sperm quality and DNA quality, to which this chapter foreshadows. This theory is hinted by the bottles of soju and packets of cigarettes on the floor. In chapter 14, at the barbecue restaurant, Hae-soo heard the customer talking about her husband having an office wife, seeking her to be allowed to leave early. Thoughts of her being abandoned loomed as she goes to Minchol's office. And the day after their first entanglement, chapter 41, Hae-soo listens as the customer talks about relationship ending before it even begins, when it starts off with a physical intimacy. And these are the 7 Easter eggs from my Tears on a Withered Flower series. Am I on point or just a Delulu reader? By the time you see parts 2, 3, and 4, chapter 54 has been released. I'm doing the best I can to edit faster. So while I'm in post, enjoy part 1, and I'll see you in the next one. Matane!